All right, let's dive into something pretty powerful. We're going to talk about why we get stuck in these endless loops, and more importantly, how we can actually break that cycle and start building the future we want, consciously. You know that feeling when the alarm goes off and you just think, ugh, here we go again. It's like you're living the same day over and over. A bit like that movie Groundhog Day, right? Well, it turns out there's a real reason we get stuck in that loop. And believe it or not, it all starts the second you open your eyes in the morning. Okay, so let's get into it. For most of us, our day doesn't really start in the present. We actually wake up in the past. Sounds weird, I know, but let's break down how that happens. So just think about your morning. It's usually on total autopilot, right? You wake up, and what's the first thing your brain does? Bam, it starts thinking about your problems. And what are problems really? They're just memories. They're records of the past. So you immediately start feeling all the emotions tied to those memories. And then what do? We grab our phones, right? And just like that, we're plugged right back into the same old world and all its pressures. And this is such a key point. Every single one of those problem memories, it has an emotion hardwired to it. So the second your brain recalls a problem, you don't just think about it. You immediately start to feel it. You feel that unhappiness, that anxiety, that frustration all over again. You're basically starting your day by reliving past emotions. And all of this leads to this really crucial idea of your state of being. It's super simple, really. Your state of being is just how you're thinking plus how you're feeling. That's the formula. So, if your thoughts are all about the past and your feelings are coming from those past thoughts, well, then your entire state of being is literally living in the past. And here's the kicker. If you keep starting your day in the past, guess what you're going to create? More of the same. That familiar past, well, it just becomes a predictable future. It's a self-fulfilling prophecy. And the only way out, the only way to change your life, is to learn how to think greater than how you feel. So you might be wondering, how does this cycle get so powerful? How does it get such a grip on us? Well, it's because over time, all that repetition builds a subconscious program, a program that just runs our lives on complete autopilot. And the scale of this is, honestly, it's kind of mind-blowing. By the time we hit our mid-30s, a whopping 95% of who we are is just a subconscious program. It's a collection of memorized behaviors, habits, emotional reactions, the whole shebang. So look at this. That means only 5%, just a tiny sliver of your mind, is consciously trying to steer the ship. The other 95% is the program running in the background. Okay, now let's add another layer to this. Think about how many thoughts we have. On average, it's something like 65,000 thoughts in one day. That is a ton of mental chatter. But here's the real question. What are those thoughts actually doing? Because here it is, 90% of those thoughts are the exact same thoughts you had the day before. Let that sink in. The same thoughts lead to the same choices, which trigger the same behaviors, which create the same experiences, which produce, you guessed it, the same emotions. And that right there is the loop. That's what keeps us stuck, just reinforcing that old programming day in and day out. Okay, so if we want to change, we have to break out of that loop. It's that simple and that hard. Because there's a part of our own mind that's standing guard, like a gatekeeper. And to make any real change, we have to figure out a way to get past it. That gatekeeper? It's our analytical mind. Think of it like a firewall. It separates your conscious mind, that little 5% that's saying, hey, I want to change, from your subconscious mind. And the subconscious is the other 95%. It's the operating system of your life. So if you want to make real, lasting change, you can't just talk to the 5%. You've got to get past that analytical firewall and get access to the main operating system. So how in the world do we get past that gatekeeper? Well, this is where a tool like meditation comes in. It's so powerful because what it does is it helps you slow your brainwaves down. You start to move beyond all that analytical chatter. And when you do that, you can disconnect from your body, from your environment, just for a little while. And that's your window. That's when you can get in and start rewriting those old subconscious programs. And this all leads to a really powerful question. Why wait? I mean, really, think about it. Most people wait for a crisis to hit. Some kind of trauma, a major loss, a scary health diagnosis. That's when they finally decide to change. But here's the thing. You don't have to learn from pain. You don't have to wait to hit rock bottom. You can actually choose to learn and change from a place of joy and inspiration instead. All right, so if we don't have to wait for a crisis, how do we actually do it? How do we proactively create the future we want? Well, the secret is that it all starts from the inside. Okay, now this is where things get really, really cool. This is the science behind how we change, and it's this. Your brain does not know the difference between something you are vividly imagining and something that's actually happening out in the real world. To your brain, they're the same thing. So, the tool we use is called mental rehearsal, and it's a 3-step process. Step 1, you've got to decide what thoughts you want to fire and wire in your brain. Step 2, you close your eyes and you actually rehearse the actions you'll take in that future. But here's the most important part. Step 3, you have to teach your body emotionally what that future will feel like. You have to feel the joy, the gratitude, the empowerment of that future now. And when you do this over and over again, what you're actually doing is installing the neurological hardware, the brain circuitry, for your new life, before it even happens. Your brain stops being just a record of the past, and it becomes a map to the future. It's literally the guide that will lead you there. This is a total paradigm shift. Think about it. The old way to live, the Newtonian model, is cause and effect. We wait for something outside of us to happen to change how we feel on the inside. Like, when I get that promotion, then I'll feel successful. You're an effect of the outside world. But the new way, the quantum model, flips that completely. You become the cause. You say, I'm going to feel successful now, and that inner feeling actually causes the effect in the outside world. You go from being the effect to being the cause. So when you boil it all down, it really comes to this. It's a fundamental choice you have to make. Are you going to be a victim of your life, or are you going to be the creator of your life? And you can hear the difference in how these two mindsets talk. The victim says, I am this way because of my past, because of what that person did to me. It's all about something external that happened. But the creator says, my thinking and my feeling right now are changing the outcome of my life. One is defined by the past, the other is defined by a vision of the future. It's your choice which one you want to be. And the very first step in making that choice is realizing one simple but life-changing thing. Just because you have a thought doesn't mean it's true. We have all these automatic subconscious thoughts popping into our heads all day. But the moment you become aware of them, the moment you can observe a thought without automatically believing it, that's the moment you take your power back. So that leaves us with one last big question. If you now know you're not defined by your past, and you have the tools to literally create a new future, who are you going to decide to be when you wake up tomorrow morning?